In the 1980s, the Western Hemisphere's cocaine trade was completely monopolized by the drug lord Pablo Escobar. And although he was responsible for the death of thousands of people, his worst crime of all was destabilizing the Colombian ecosystem. In the late 70s, Escobar built a large estate 93 miles east of Medellin, which he called Hacienda Napolis. And with a whopping 7.7 square miles of property space, Escobar got creative. He built a private airport, a brothel, and a Formula One racing track. Everything a man could ever need. But he wasn't done yet, as Escobar also pulled a Matt Damon and bought a zoo. Or at least he bought the animals to make a zoo on his property, no matter how impractical it was to get those animals to Colombia. That meant shipping exotic birds, elephants, giraffes, ostriches, zebras, and even hippopotamuses from around the world to the hacienda. In December of 1993, Escobar was fatally shot by Colombian special forces. Hacienda Napolis was seized by the government, who began capturing the animals in Escobar's zoo and relocating them to nearby real zoos. Except some animals were a bit too costly to apprehend, because they were dangerous or just huge. To solve that issue, the government simply said, fuck it, let them die. So the zebras, giraffes, and hippos were left to starve or kill each other in the remains of the hacienda. And most of them did die off, with the notable exception of the hippos. Originally housed in a man-made lake that Escobar had built for them, the 4 OG hippos were purchased from a dealer in New Orleans for $3,000 each in 1981. While they were fed by handlers during Escobar's life, the hippos quickly adapted to foraging the grass for food once they were abandoned. At some point over the years, the hippos broke the fence that was keeping them on the property, and this is when their reign of terror in Colombia really began. With no natural predators, the hippos were free to do nothing but eat and have sex in the Colombian wilderness. And that's exactly what they did, enjoying a life of leisure similar to the one of the man who purchased them. And much like Escobar, these hippos were very horny. You see, in Africa, the average hippo becomes sexually active between the ages of 7 to 9 for males and 9 to 11 for females. But Escobar's horny hippos were banging as young as 3, and they weren't taking any breaks either. Eventually, it reached a point that the fertile female hippos were giving birth to a new calf every year. And considering hippos can live 40 to 50 years, you can see how this became a problem. By 2006, the hippo population had grown from 4 to 16, which garnered enough attention to bring us this LA Times article titled, "A Hippo Critical Situation." Very nice, very nice. Thank you to reporter Chris Kroll for that one. By 2009, the authorities felt the need to do something, so they authorized hunters to kill the hippos. After killing the first one, who was apparently named Pepe, the hunters took this picture, which shows you that these hippos are genuinely living the exact same life as Pablo Escobar. But the picture of dead Pepe sparked global outrage, causing the Colombian government to stop the hippo hunt after one kill. By 2014, the hippo population had grown to an estimated 50 to 60 hippos. In 2017, the Colombian government decided to try castrating the hippos. But after the castration of a single hippo cost the government $50,000, they put a stop to that idea too. In 2019, the hippo army reached 100 strong. That same year, a Cambridge University study estimated that there would be 400 to 500 hippos by 2050, but there could be up to 5,000 if those hippos get even hornier. At this point, you may be wondering one thing. Who gives a shit? Why is it a big deal if a bunch of hippos live in Colombia? Well, the problem with the hippos lies in their feces, which apparently contains natural chemicals which get into the river and impact the habitat of every other animal in Colombia. On top of this, the hippos have reportedly attacked humans over the years, although they have yet to secure a kill and avenge Pepe. In 2020, a hippo chased down a farmer and severely injured him, putting more pressure on the Colombian government to solve the issue. In 2021, the government began a program to chemically sterilize the hippos, successfully sterilizing at least 24 of them. But the chemical used drew concern about the health of the hippos, with some activists believing the drug could kill them. After a legal battle, a US court recognized Escobar's hippos as people, which is maybe the strangest turn this could have taken. This marked the first time a US court has ever allowed animals to exercise a legal right in their own name, with one of the attorneys saying it would help the hippos in their lawsuit not to die. Which feels like something you shouldn't have to sue over, but I guess the hippos are very litigious. So after Pablo Escobar's hippos beat Colombia in their lawsuit not to die, the government was left with one option. Send them to another country like they should have done from the beginning. Except instead of 4 hippos, they now have between 130 and 160 on their hands. So, in March of 2023, Colombia announced plans to lure 70 of the hippos into large iron containers and fly 60 of them to India and 10 of them to Mexico. The whole thing will cost the government $3.5 million, which teaches the valuable lesson that you should always relocate hippos before they get a chance to breed. If the plan works out, the government will probably attempt to relocate the rest of them as well. But for now, Pablo Escobar's Hippo army remains strong, serving as the biggest impact of his legacy today, except for the thousands of people who are currently addicted to cocaine thanks to the industry he started. Now please consider subscribing or the hippos will sue you in court.